Bill, did you ever find, when you went through this process, a sort of a brain drain scenario? Did anybody leave for the Big Apple? You know, once you trained them and educated them, they became that human asset.
No, they want
to stay.
They've become assets in our community. That's the whole point of the story, that we've now given them a reason to stay in this community, and they won't have to migrate somewhere else to find employment or to find a good life opportunity. So it also turns out to be a great community building strategy, because you turn your liabilities into assets. The assets stay home, they pay taxes, they contribute to the employment market, they contribute to the educational market. Their children are out of poverty, so you break the cycle. And so I believe that rather than exporting the talent, you import these ideas and opportunities, and you can drill down in your community to have everybody be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And there will never be a city that can be totally successful unless the weakest link in the chain, which oftentimes are people who are poor, if that is not remedied, the community is only as good as those people who are left behind.
It's the whole community. We're not just talking about a downtown development. We're talking about the community as a whole, I guess, guys.
Absolutely. I literally live 6 blocks from where I was born. My whole 63 years is 6 city blocks. And the point is that you don't have to go someplace to have the world come be a part of your life. You can bring the world to where you live. And so that my neighborhood is now part of a regional development strategy for Southwest Pennsylvania. So rather than our community being isolated from the conversation, we are now equal participants in the conversation, and people look at where we live as an asset and no longer a liability.
Mark, can you isolate any areas of Hamilton where you might want to work Strickland's theory here first?
Well, actually, in a lot of respects, the Bill's theory is what we're actually exercising in many communities already, whether it's through the Hamilton Community Foundation, the United Way. Various groups have taken a very strong community-based approach. And where community-based is not going in there and imposing solutions. It's going in and listening and facilitating and supporting the community, the individuals actually living in the community, to design their community that they see best fit for their growth. So we have a number of communities that we basically know by postal code where some of the biggest issues are in terms of either unemployment and poverty. And those are the first communities. And you can imagine many of those still sit in our downtown core, East End, North End.
Okay, Bill, how long have you been at this now?
40 years. I've only had 2 jobs my entire life. I also used to fly airplanes for a living. I flew 727s for a company called Braniff many years ago. But the other job was what I'm doing now. So this whole story literally is my whole adult and professional life.
And what happened to Pittsburgh in a nutshell? Can you share with us?
Well, we lost heavy industry in a nutshell. The steel industry collapsed 20, 25, 30 years ago. And so it has really been a tale of Pittsburgh rebuilding itself to not be totally dependent on heavy industry. So we've diversified our economy. We have looked to IT, healthcare, financial services, specialty metals, and so forth as a diversified revenue strategy for the future. And we fit in quite nicely to that enhanced vision of Pittsburgh, because we're working with a population of people that have to be accounted for in some way if it's truly going to be a city of the future. So we think it's a great laboratory to demonstrate best practices, not only in terms of revising the economic strategy for the community, but revising it in a way that is totally participatory by every interest group.
Mr. Chamberlain, city of the future. I like the sound of that.
Oh, the city of the future? I completely agree. And I'm hoping that in Hamilton we're beginning to live that future. We have, again, I think a really dedicated group of folks in many, many parts of our community that are already doing spectacular things. I think we have a lot of organizations, our universities, our colleges, our healthcare, and even our steel industry, which is still a major employer. And I would call them actually, in some respects, still high-tech companies that happen to have a product of steel. With CanMet joining our city as specialty metals and specialty materials, I think we're beginning to live that future, and I think it's quite exciting.
Yeah, Bill was talking 25, 30 years ago this all got started, the transformation of Pittsburgh. How far in is the JPC? How far in are you and your people?
Well, I mean, we are a group, and so I wouldn't measure time just by ourselves.
Okay, Hamilton then. How far is Hamilton in?
I think Hamilton is well into this, at least 10 to 15 years. And I'll say that because I think we started having our transition as large industry and heavy industry started leaving our city a number of years ago. So maybe it's not been at the forefront, maybe it's not been in the press, but the members of the JPC, which include 80, 90 folks around our city from the not-for-profit, the health, the education, and business, they've been working on this problem for the last 10 or 15 years, you know, in great stride. As an organization, JPC, what we've really done is just help connect the dots, become more aligned, and hopefully as a group be working in the same direction on the same issues.
All right, I don't mean to rush you. Thank you, Mark Chamberlain. Finally, Bill Strickland, your book, Making the Impossible Possible. Where do we find that one? Anywhere? Any fine bookstore?
Yeah, I'm not so certain about Hamilton, but I know Borders, Barnes & Noble, Amazon all have the book. And if everything else fails, just Google my name, and there's a link right to the book, so it's pretty easy to come by.
Okay, well, welcome to the other Steel City. And have a great time tonight. I know you got a full house, and I know there's still much to be learned, and I'm certain with the two of you and everybody else, we're already well underway. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.